When I was 7 years old in the second grade, my second grade school teacher had a game that she would get our class to play. Whenever the class was getting loud and rambunctious and kind of rowdy, she would ask us all to sit on the ground cross-legged and to sit as still as we possibly could. Now, you can imagine as a 7-year-old, this was incredibly hard to do because you're full of excitement and energy and enthusiasm, but the game was for us to sit as still as we possibly could. And she would sit there and she would judge us and watch us all sitting still. Now, for us as 7-year-olds, it felt like it went on for about an hour at a time, but in reality, it was probably maybe a minute or two. And of course, as you can guess, it served the device of calming down the class, making us focus, and to get on with our schoolwork. So it was kind of a genius ploy as the teacher. Now, I had completely forgotten about this game of sitting still until recently, and I wanted to share a little insight that I had about it. Now, I've noticed, especially in the last, say, 10 years of my life, that I have basically lost the ability to sit still. I don't know about you, but my life tends to be packed full of events and activities and to-dos, goals and plans and lists of things. I'm always talking to someone or texting or emailing, or I'm on social media, or I'm, entertained by some sort of media. I'm watching something. Especially with technology today, we're never really bored. We've always got something that we can be doing or, being involved in. So I have noticed that ability just to sit still, to be present, has almost vanished from my life. I don't know if you feel a bit the same. Now, about a month ago, I was starting to feel, for whatever reason, just this sort of hum of anxiety. Because I was always on, it was like my brain couldn't switch off. I was always thinking about what I had to do next, people I had to talk to, things I had to get completed, phone calls or texts I had to reply to, whatever. And I found that I was just getting anxious for no reason. It wasn't anything specific that I was worried about. I just had this sort of general hum of anxiety. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I remembered the game that my second grade teacher used to get us to play, which was to sit still. So I decided, it was about 6 o'clock in the morning one morning, and I was feeling that anxiety because I was getting ready for the day. I decided to go and sit on the balcony outside my apartment with a cup of coffee and nothing else for 10 minutes, just to sit still. Now, this might sound like it's simple, might sound like it's easy, but trust me, it's not. For the first couple of minutes I was out there, I felt like I was wasting time, like I should have been doing something, I should have been texting or emailing or reading something, writing something. I should have been using that time in a productive way. But because I persisted through the first couple of minutes, my mind started to calm down. Now, it was early in the morning, so it was quiet, it was cool outside, the wind was blowing a little bit, there were some birds chirping in the background, I could hear the traffic passing, and I started to become more present in the moment. Really, in a sense, what I was doing was a form of meditation, I suppose. I was just spending that 10 minutes to myself, really getting present in the moment. And then what started to happen was I began to think about all the things in my life that were great. It just popped into my head. I started to think about, having health, having the opportunity to live the life that I want to live, all the different things that I'm grateful for. Now, I realized that this probably makes me sound a little bit like Oprah or someone like that, about being grateful and sitting still and being present. And I'm not trying to rip off someone else's idea, but for me, this was a significant breakthrough. The ability just to sit still for 10 minutes at a time in the morning was really a significant skill that I had lost. So what I've been doing for the past month, every morning, usually about 6:30 in the morning before I get started with my day, just before I get into things, I take my cup of coffee, I leave my phone inside, I leave anything else aside, and I go and sit on the balcony for 10 minutes and I sit still as possible. I just sit there, I notice the noises around me, I notice the temperature, and I just sit as present as I can. I don't think about anything specific, I don't not think about anything specific, I just sit still. And what that has brought me is this incredible sense of peace and gratitude and enjoyment that I had started to miss in my life. And I wanted to share this with you as a very simple idea just to bring back a sense of control and power. Because like you, I have always, been a person who has had goals and ambitions and things that I wanted to do in my life, but I found that they were starting to kind of control me and own me in some way. So I wanted to share this with you as a way to bring back that sense of control and power and peace and perspective in your own life. because very often we realize or we forget that the things that are most important are right in front of us, right? It's an old cliche, but it's true. What we have in our lives is what we really should be valuing. And the things that we want in the future, they'll come to us when they're ready to come. So I wanted to share this idea of sitting still that I learned from my second grade teacher over 30 years ago that came back to me just recently. And it's a practice that I've begun to put into my daily life just for 10 minutes in the morning, about 6:30 in the morning. You don't have to do it as early as me, but at some time in the day, try it for yourself. Just sit still for 10 minutes and be present with yourself. Enjoy that time for yourself and see what benefit that it brings you. This is Daniel Midson-Short. I hope this idea was valuable for you. Thanks for watching. And as always, thank you for improving yourself.